Welcome, newcomers and true believers alike. This is the Countdown to Doomsday, an MCU watch along podcast packed to the brim with thrills and chills, twists and turns, and more supervillains than you can shake an art shaped herb at. That's hard to say all in
It is.
one row. But anyway, I'm your host, Jake. And as always, I'm joined by my co host, Sammy. How are you doing on this fine, sunny evening?
I'm happy that it's a cooler, sunny evening.
It is. We've been having crazy storm weather, but then also heat wave weather interchangeably. I had a headache yesterday, which I'm attributing to pressure change or
Yep,
something.
yep. It's a true thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been disgusting in the UK, if we're going to be honest, over the last few days. But we've had a big, massive rain thing today, and yeah, it cooled down. It's a lot cool. Last night I was recording, and Beta Ray Bill became my fan.
Oh, I thought you were going to say melted.
I would have cried.
Oh, sorry.
Oh
Help me.
no! I love how that's how we think Beta Ray Bill talks.
Until he shows up on screen, it's not confirmed he doesn't talk like that.
Well, he is technically a horse. Like he's got a horse face, so
Are we on here to talk about horses?
no,
We're here
we're
to talk
not.
about panthers like Bast, the spectral panther god, which I thought you saw more of as a like a physical entity in this movie, but I guess that's future stuff.
It is, and it cleared a lot of things up that I have questioned in previous episodes, but
Yeah.
I can get into that. I will do the disclaimer,
Yep.
and we can crack on open Black Panther. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions, and it's our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook page. You can join us on our socials, the Discord, or the comment section, where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. Because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Excelsior.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Thank you all. So we're in 2018, which still feels like a lifetime ago, and
Mhm.
shocked the life out of me when I saw it in the MCU timeline.
Yeah. We're catching up. We're
We
catching up to the present day.
because in my head, Infinity War ended it all, but it didn't. There's so much more, and then
Yeah.
but we're so close to the end of the Infinity Saga.
I'm so glad, like, obviously, because obviously we don't have to, but I'm glad we don't have to wait for the actual full length of the gap again because that was
Yeah.
tough back then.
Mhm.
Like, watching a movie like this and being like, oh, but then I've still got to wait for Infinity War because then it even says at the end Black Panther will return in Infinity War. So
When?
you're just thinking about it the whole time, like, as soon as the movie's over.
Yeah. Yeah, and oh, yeah, what a time to be alive. So the development of this, I gotta say, this is probably one of the funniest stories I've ever come across in development. It's not to say that this was a shit show of a production because it was not by any stretch, but it
Yeah.
is another one where this has been in the works for a long time.
Right. Okay.
So in June 1992, Wesley Snipes announced his intention to make a film about Black Panther, and he began work in August to start getting the ball moving. Because what did he say? Snipes felt that Africa had been portrayed poorly in Hollywood films previously, and that the
Yeah.
film
I
could
feel like
really
he's right.
highlight. And he said the film could really highlight the majestic of the continent due to the title character being noble. Um, and I can't say that word, so I'm just going to leave it at noble.
Okay.
So the following July, Snipes planned to begin the Black Panther star after he starred in Demolition Man. A
Mm.
month after that, he expressed interest in making sequels to it. So he wanted to make this whole big Black
Yeah.
Panther thing. He was in talks with Columbia Pictures. He was also in talks with Stan Lee. Actually, got heavily involved and was like, "Okay, yeah, let's do this." Um, and then he got directors. He got several screenwriters and directors, including Mario Van Peebles and John Singleton.
All right. Okay.
And sorry, even I know John Singleton's no longer with us anymore, but oh, he would have been amazing. And then when the film didn't progress in '96, Lee explained that he was what would he say? he explained that he had not been pleased with the scripts of the project and was kind of like distancing himself from it.
Yeah.
And then Wesley Snipes came out with the best bit of it all. Snipes said that one of the issues with the project's development and confusion among those unfamiliar with the comics who thought the film was about the Black Panther Party
Yeah, okay. So he actually had people signed on to work with him that were
and
trying to
didn't
write
really explain.
a movie about the actual Black Panthers.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, in 1997, Black Panther was listed as part of Marvel's comics film slate. So this
Mhm.
is around about the time of X-Men.
Yeah.
And in 1998, Marvel hired Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palomito, who were the actual editors of Black Panther comics at the time,
Mhm.
and they actually went on to write screenplays, and they started to get involvement with Astaria Entertainment and try to make a deal. Um, Snipes was still kind of involved, still wanting to, but he actually just planned to do Blade 3. So
Mhm.
that kind of overtook everything, and Snipes then is gone. And then in September of 2005, Marvel chairman at the time, CEO Avi Arad, announced that Black Panther was one of the 10 films being developed by the new Marvel Studios.
Mhm.
And this is where it kind of starts to get into now times. However, again, John Singleton is asked once again, would you be interested in doing this? And he ended up he turned it down. The director Tim Story, who did Fantastic Four, he
Mhm.
expressed interest in also casting Dimijon Hewson, who we have seen in Guardians of the Galaxy as Black Panther.
All right, okay.
Again, he then goes on to do Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. So his interest then goes out the window on it, and it eventually just starts to go narrow down and narrow down. Like this is still on the board, so this is still going to be part of whatever the MCU was looking at that time.
Yeah, like the want this character
Yeah,
involved. Yeah.
exactly. Vibranium is going to play a huge part, and we
Mhm.
need Wakanda for that. And then it then dwindles down into 2013, no, 2011, sorry, and this is where Mark Bailey is brought on to write the script for Black Panther, and this is where Ryan Coogler's name gets brought up.
Mhm.
Marvel actually considered showing Wakanda actually earlier than what it did. They were going to show it in Iron Man 2.
Oh, yeah, that's really early.
Yeah. But then because it was just they knew it was what they knew it was going to take place, but what they didn't want to do was shoehorn something in where they didn't have a clue what was actually happening with it.
Yeah, where they would have to maybe retcon some stuff if they accidentally showed something like yeah.
Exactly.
The I remember they did hint at it, like it was on a map somewhere, like circled like with Atlantis and stuff. Like
Yes.
for the eagle-eyed fans, they've sort of alluded to it being a thing.
And it's also mentioned, I think, in Age of Ultron,
Absolutely,
because
yeah. He says
yeah,
where he stole it from and stuff, and
because
that's why he's got the bit of skin missing.
that is correct. Yes, that is absolutely correct. So in 2014, Feige announced that Black Panther would be released on November 3rd, 2017. And we all know that that didn't happen because it came out in 2018.
Mhm.
With Chadwick Boseman cast as T'Challa. Now, if we remember rightly, to Chadwick Boseman's name comes up after he auditioned in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, yeah. Which then
So
makes that what if episode super special.
I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy. He is part of one of my alternative casting or
Yeah,
auditioned casting
unless we're
because it
mixing it up, but hopefully we're not.
potentially. Um, but yeah, so that is kind of how it all started. Coogler is brought on, and Ryan Coogler is he's amazing is an understatement when it comes to that man.
Mhm.
But one of his guys comes with him. Because he'd already done Creed at this point. Michael B. Jordan is one
Yeah.
of his actors. So he was coming with him regardless, but he was always an undisclosed character.
Oh, that's fun.
Up until the trailer, nobody knew who Michael B. Jordan was playing.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, he was almost the standout star of this movie. Like that's his character is pretty much what everyone was talking about after this.
Yeah,
That's super interesting though. I would love to read some of those like 90s scripts, especially by like Joe Quesada and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
also, yeah, it would be interesting to see what the hell Wesley Snipes was trying to pull off back after Demolition Man era.
But it's like Snipes was the only one who had his head in the game and knew what he wanted to do, and it
Yeah.
is kind of a bit of a shame that we never got to see what a Wesley Snipes Black Panther could have looked like.
Yeah, because I think like, around the Demolition Man time, like an action movie style superhero thing could have
Hmm.
been fun. I think sometimes where they fell down on like action movie sort of, characters in is they never got like the outfit right, like so
Mm,
we'd get silly images in our head of like, oh well, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger in like a Turbo Man outfit and like but yeah, if they could have done it right,
yeah.
would
Well,
have been interesting.
well, the production team were inspired by now. I hope to God I don't butcher this man's name. Ta Coates.
Uh-huh.
Now, that is the writer of Black Panther at the time.
Hmm.
And that's where Ryan Coogler got a lot of inspiration from. Also from Jack Kirby, Christopher Priest, Jonathan Hickman. Um, but I can't say quotes. I'm so
It's
sorry
okay.
because this is the comic run that I was so excited for.
Hmm.
I was so excited when this came out because it was going to be the first time I was starting at issue one Black Panther, and I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I fell off so quickly with it. The work itself was phenomenal, but for some it wasn't hitting something with us.
I think
Um,
sometimes like the dialogue and stuff in comics is harder to get into than the art, like
mm,
there can be mismatched comics where you're like this is beautiful but I'm not really like following the dialogue super well. Um but yeah, like I'd read that this sort of vision of Wakanda was a more modern take on it, like
yeah,
this sort of like traditionalist sort of future where it takes like elements of like African culture, but also like mixes it into sci-fi. That was like a more modern, comic book
yeah.
take on it.
Yeah, the Dora Milaje is not, there's a lot of things that are not in comic to
Hmm.
that are put in screen. So there's a lot that's been changed with
Yeah.
them. But Coogler also wanted to actually introduce I don't know how this would have went, but really wanted to introduce Craven the Hunter.
Right.
It
Instead
was
of
part
Claw.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was part of the early process, but they changed it because they don't own him. He's a Sony.
Yeah. There was
So
I heard about a different character as well. Like uh Killmonger's like American girlfriend, I think was supposed to be Nightshade or something, but she
yeah.
ended up in Luke Cage, so they dropped that and sort of just made her a know nothing
Yeah.
character. But I think her name badge still says Tilda, which is like the old
Oh,
name. But it's really blurry. You can't really like. It's like
oh,
when she's pretending to be working at the museum. So
oh, that's right. Yes.
there's some evidence. So it seems like Ryan Coogler had some ideas and maybe got like them knocked on the head just by other Marvel stuff, which is a bit annoying for him,
But
I'm sure.
it is because he's incredibly inspired by things.
Yeah. So
He
he's done his
actually
research. Yeah.
the man does his homework. He actually had Donald Glover and his brother Stephen come in and do minor contributions to the early script, and it
Mhm.
was more the development between T'Challa and Shuri to try and get
Yeah.
that dynamic right. So to know that Donald Glover has like kind of a hand in this too, like he's not his ego does not it doesn't it's not just oh it's me, like he's
Mhm.
kind of like yeah, if you can contribute and help to elevate this relationship, then please come on in and help on out.
Yeah, I think that's what people always forget about like scripts. It's like it's never just one person. It's usually a combination. And then even then someone might come and take a look afterwards and do like punch up and kind of mess things about or be like, well, this joke doesn't really work. Like you guys probably were looking at it too closely. So
Yeah,
like yeah, it's always this like a massive collaboration to get like a movie like
it
this
is.
done.
He also wanted to bring in Golden Age Black hero Eli Bradley,
Hmm.
Patriot,
Yeah.
for a while, but it would have the because we're focusing on Wakanda, it
Yeah.
kind of wouldn't have fit in.
They've
So
already
Eli
got
Bra-
an ex super soldier guy hanging about in Wakanda, haven't they?
yeah, they do. They don't need another. They need to fix this one. We need him back. But Eli Bradley is actually featured in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, and he's like standout in that as well. So
Yeah,
I'm glad we
yeah,
got that.
exactly. So it's not. I see where he wanted to go with it
Yes, he
because
wanted to like bring in like every like inspirational like black character and be like, here's a
yeah,
massive celebration.
hundred
But he
percent.
gets to do that with like the Wakandan stuff. It's like
Yeah,
it's it's such a really good celebration of so many different things and like so many different sides of culture and just like comic books. Like,
uh-huh.
yeah.
No, I hope Ryan Coogler knows what he did at this time when this movie came out. I hope he understands the impact that he had
Hmm.
on a lot of people. I watched a lot of the press for this and a lot of like the premiere stuff and things, when the junkets and whatnot. I watched all that. And the African American community in America, especially in America at the time, were so grateful for this
Hmm.
movie. It just came at a time they really needed it.
Yeah.
And it was so heartwarming, the response that came from it.
Yeah, and there are moments where you can see in the script that he maybe wanted to go a bit harder on politics, and
Mhm.
you can sort of feel him like bouncing back off Disney execs a little bit,
Yeah,
like whether or not they did tell him to walk stuff back, or if he was just writing in a style where no one could say
yeah.
anything back to him about it. It would be interesting. I think like if this was made now, I think it would be a bit more like angry, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, just to go into how seriously Ryan Coogler took this, it doesn't just go from script to
Hmm.
set to it's also in the costumes as well. So he
Yeah.
did his homework. He had costume designer Ruthie Carter reference. I am not going to butcher these names in disgrace, like because
Yeah.
they're important names, and I don't want to mess this up. But a lot of tribes. Um, See if I can actually pronounce any of them. Himba, Dogon, Basamotho, Turkana, Zulu, Suri, Dinka.
Yeah.
He also
It,
examined appropriate works by Japanese fashion designer Isao Miyake, and French fashion designer Yves Saint Laurent.
mhm. Yeah, and
And
like it's like for all it's for like the sort of five tribes thing, they actually try to like pull from like real
mhm.
world examples and sort of pick their clothes and like hairstyles to
Yeah,
match, which is
everything has
amazing.
a meaning, and also so he's pulled designers from everywhere. So he's
Mhm.
got one who's referencing the African side. He's got a French designer in there. He's got a Japanese designer in there. He actually has Donna Karen from America come in there. And Winnie Mandela provided inspiration for Carter and Angela Bassett's costumes.
Yeah, her costumes are insane in this movie. Insane
Oh,
good,
that
complimentary.
woman. The Dora Milaje costumes are primarily primarily used red to reflect different African cultures.
Mhm.
Included beaded tardets that featured talismans that would be passed down from mother to daughter.
Yeah, so
There's
there's this like lore baked into like just the outfits alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's some parts of samurai culture in there and ninja culture, like ninja styles
Mhm.
as well. And there's a lot of thought being put into this. The costume side, like alone, is so fascinating how he has managed to blend worlds, but make sure there is a clear, cultural picture there. And oh,
Yeah,
it's
and
fantastic.
how it all fits in this like fictional city of Wakanda, and
Yeah.
nothing sort of
And
looks out of place.
all material comes from wherever their inspiration is from. So, for example, with African style outfits, all the art, fabric, hair, textures, everything comes from them.
Oh, so they went like full authentic with it. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. It's so the to to go through the notes that I have for this, it would literally take up the whole episode.
Oh, I
So
know, I know.
if you want to, please go and read more about it because it is so fascinating. The work that has gone into this, it's mind blowing how much detail has gone into one movie.
Which is kind of it's a bit sad when you think about it, because like there's some like dumbass like Joss Whedon can be like, oh, Captain America's here in the Hulk, and like the Hulk's got blue pants on, and like and then
Yeah,
like the people working on this movie have just like put the heart and soul into like
into
every
it
second
all.
that you see on screen. And
Everything that you see is touched with love.
they do
And
get to this day, people do give this movie its correct amount of credit. I think most
mhm.
people are in agreement that it's one of the best like MCU films, just as like a standalone. Like take
Oh,
everything else away. If you
mhm.
just if you just watch this without knowing anything else, it's like
You you
it's a
could do
full
it.
package.
Yeah, you could do it. You could watch the standalone and not have to go and watch anything else. That's totally fine.
Yeah, and
Um,
there's even like stuff fashions like your area, like music's one of mine.
mhm.
There's even stuff in the music where like they have different
Oh,
instruments that represent, like, Black Panther has got that kind of drum,
yeah.
like T'Challa's got that drum that you always hear when he shows up. And like Killmonger has like that's sort of like one of the kind of flute things, and when they're having a fight, it's like actually switching, like, but depend
Collab.
on who's winning, it's like
Yeah.
switching up the music, which is absolutely insane. I'm getting
Oh,
chills just thinking about
yeah. I've
it.
got goosebumps. I will have permanent goosebumps talking about this film. I did make a comment on my old YouTube channel
Mhm.
about this movie, and I upset a lot of nerds.
Is this
Um,
another Sammy's years later apology
yeah.
type things?
So I watched the trailer for this,
Yeah.
and I think it was around about the same time Aquaman. Um,
Oh, that was such a bad trailer and movie.
well, I just hang on. I just want to check the year because I remember saying exactly the same thing for both movies. Yeah,
Right.
2018. Watched the Aquaman trailer. I used to do trailer reactions, and the trailer reaction for Black Panther and the trailer reaction for Aquaman. And I said on both videos, are they just trying to replicate The Lion King for both films? Because I really feel like, and it was not anything to do with sentence. It was more, it was the story. It
The
was
king, the throne thing.
the king, the throne, the guy, the son getting the throne. And I was like, am I going mad here? I have aged since then.
Yeah. It like the internet, it always had, well, since maybe around 2000 when it became monetized, the internet has always rewarded hot takes and
Yeah.
simplifying things down to like one phrase. So I totally get it. It's
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah, I upset so many people. I had to go on and I was like, listen, I am literally talking story here.
Yeah.
Aquaman and this both have Lion King feels for me.
There is a
But what
big cat theme in this thing
and
as well.
there is a huge massive difference. Aquaman is terrible and this movie isn't.
God,
Huge
I
difference.
hate everything, almost
N-
everything about Aquaman. Yeah.
Do you know our Black Panther video did so well? Our views were so good on it, and we literally just missed out on the Russo brothers collaboration of their 10-year trailer reactions that they were doing
Yeah.
leading up to Infinity War. I was gutted.
You hear that, Kevin? Get back in touch because we're back in the
So,
game.
yeah. Hey, my Infinity War trailer reaction has 80,000 views on it, and it still, to this day, gets watches.
Well
You want to
done.
see you want to see me make myself look like a tit? Watch that video because I nearly cry. But maybe we should get into the movie.
Yes, it immediately tries to break your heart because it shows you the special Chadwick Boseman intro
Oh, Jake,
from the second film.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, it's all
Oh,
the shots of him being all like happy and like
oh,
doing his whole like claws at the Infinity War and everything.
oh my gosh. Well, he was actually 2 years into his 4-year battle with colon cancer, and at this point, this man is sick.
which you
And look at
can't tell at all based on like his physique and physical acting. I mean, I
no,
know a lot of it is a lot of the Panther suit stuff is CGI, which some parts did look a little bit cheap, but at the same time, like you can't throw like a stunt man around like
no,
that. So I get
no,
it.
no. We've always said here on, like I'm saying, like here, like Nerdy Up North in
Yeah.
general, there's a place for CGI. There's
Yeah.
a time for it, and sometimes to make something look fucking badass without actually getting someone hurt and thinking,
Mhm.
logistically, would they be able to do that? Hey, let's just make it CGI. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's totally fine. It's just when you base your whole movie,
Yeah.
practical isn't even thought about. That's when it becomes a bit of an issue.
Yeah. But yeah, like it yeah, it's awful that we had to lose him. But it is nice that he has this like excellent sort of solo
Legacy.
movie because not
Yeah.
everyone's like side story solo movies have been good, and some
No.
I and he is a fairly new character to like movie watchers. Obviously,
Hmm.
it's in plenty in the comics, but he's got a good one of these. Not everyone gets like their side, like there's like the Marvels and stuff, which people hate. Like I haven't watched it for a while, so but
We watched it not long ago. It's
yeah,
not bad. It's not terrible.
yeah.
It was just a bit of fun. But
But
this
but
was some. Oh God.
yeah, Black Panther immediately was like, "This is good. We like Black Panther now."
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like I said, I've tried to jump into the comics with him.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed his part in the animated Avengers movie that I watched years ago.
Yes.
But and what really broke my heart with this whole thing is that it took a what if episode for me to fully appreciate the fact that Chadwick Boseman was not here anymore.
Yeah, just because you hadn't like
It
registered it properly.
hadn't sunk in properly.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I don't think Black Panther 2 was out at this point.
Mhm.
Um,
Even then, though, like that was Black Panther 2 kind of hitting a weird spot where not a lot of people were like super excited for it.
no, no, and it wasn't anything, to do with the film. It wasn't the
Mhm.
film's fault. It was how Marvel were at the time.
Yeah,
But
and
that
maybe
that
people
whole
were
movie
still
is
mourning a bit, which is yeah.
the whole film is just grief
Mhm.
personified on screen. It's their way of saying goodbye, but it was just a movie full of grief. You can't tell me that Letitia Wright is not crying constantly for real in that film, and they
Yeah,
just kept
and
the camera rolling.
yeah, and it's like, do we want to rewatch that as it's not a feel good thing, but it
It's
was
not,
important
but
that they did it.
it was, and it was important, and it was needed,
Yeah.
and it was very respect. There was a lot of conversation around, well, do we just recast the
Yeah.
Black Panther? And they've gotten around it in a way where it's so respectful, and they've buried T'Challa. I don't think in the MCU, whatever happens with Mark, I don't think we'll see another T'Challa.
No, not that character, no.
No, no. They've done it where the Black Panther lives, but it is Shuri. It's going to be
Mhm.
somebody else, and that is the only way Ryan Coogler, because Ryan Coogler was done
Mhm.
when Chadwick Boseman died. Ryan Coogler was ready to give up movies in its entirety. He was
Yeah,
done. He lost something. The day he died, he lost something, and it wasn't until Marvel said, "We're gonna give you your chance to say goodbye."
to do like whatever. Yeah.
And it was the cast, and it was the crew, and it was his writers, and I'm getting upset even thinking about this, but it was everyone who kind of got behind him and made him realize Chadwick would never want you to give that up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
Um,
yeah, you can tell like this, he just had fun
they had
around all
him.
this stuff.
They had him there on set. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. They had him there on set. When a movie is made, you have your call sheet, and your
Yeah.
first person is your top guy. That's the main. I don't want to use the main star because in everyone's right, everyone's a star in that movie. Um, they still on Black Panther 2 had him as
Yeah.
top villain, as top guy.
Yeah. I mean that to be honest, that is kind of the theme of this movie. Everyone is like, "Oh, how's T'Challa doing? What?" is he okay? Oh no, he's
Hmm.
fell off a cliff. Like,
Yeah,
he's definitely the main focus of,
yeah,
his entire family sort of revolves around him. Um, but yeah,
yeah.
let's get into this. It doesn't start happy, so I'm sorry, Sammy, but it starts with child, who we find out later, child Killmonger being like, "Tell me a story of home," sort of thing to his dad.
I
Which what
love this.
which when you learn later on, that's the framing for the story we're hearing and stuff. It's like, oh man, like it's
It's
just sad from the get-go.
it is. Isn't it very reminiscent of Xavier and Magneto's relationship? Both have the same idea, but totally different two different executions. Very Malcolm X, very Martin Luther King.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think people have mapped those exact, figures from our
Hmm.
own history, like, onto those directly. And it kind of comes down to, like, a pacifist view versus like a
Uh-huh.
violent sort of extremist, like
Yeah.
a we all know, like, like the Magneto is right thing is a meme, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things where, like, he's right, but he wants to use extreme violence to prove the point. And it's
Yeah.
like, and yeah, as we learn over the course of this movie, both ways have merit, and
Yeah.
maybe meeting in the middle is better, like, than
And
going one. Yeah.
it takes travesty in order for it to be realized.
Oh yeah, this
Um,
movie is full of tragedy, like very
yeah.
like in that sort of, grand Shakespeare like type story.
Oh,
Or like
absolutely.
Disney stories, like
Yeah.
the and Star Wars, it loves tragedy, and this just like revels in it. So yeah, we're told like a quick overview of Wakanda's history in that it was sort of the society is built around this meteorite of pure vibranium. And it's told in like it's vibranium like sand, isn't it? That sort of morphs into the characters, and it's kind of a bit like shadow puppety.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, something's just caught my eye, and it is
yeah.
literally just on the back of what we've just been talking about. That Michael B. Jordan, when he was preparing for this role, he studied Malcolm X,
Mhm.
Marcus Garvey, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton, and Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, just to get like some
He,
political
yeah,
language in them.
he also cited Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker in The Dark Knight as a major influence.
Hmm.
He even worked with his trainers from Creed to buff him up. And yeah, sorry, that literally caught my eye. We're literally just mentioning
No,
the
yeah, it's
reference between Malcolm X, and it's right there in front of us.
no,
But
I love hearing about like the work that the actors have done to try and like get it in the parts.
this is I'm trying to find the reason I'm searching for it. So I'm trying to find his name is the dad Sterling. I know.
Uh, do you mean Killmonger's dad or?
Killmonger's daddy.
Oh yeah, sorry, I don't think I wrote his name down.
It's oh gosh, he's such an amazing actor. I first saw him in The People versus OJ.
Mhm.
And then he's been in he's in he's in a really funny episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He did an ongoing series, like a Heartwoman series. Sorry, I am driveling on here just to be able to find this name. And it's yeah, keep talking, Jake.
Don't worry. So yeah, we see the meteorite come down, and the sort of story of like this is how they got all the technology because they can use the vibranium, and they have the most of it in the entire, well, all of it in the entire world because it came from space. You got it?
Found it. Yeah, I was right.
Perfect.
Sterling K. Brown. Oh,
Yeah.
oh gosh.
Well,
Sorry.
he's no, he's coming up because we get like a flash, I guess a flash forward, but
I love this scene so much.
oh, what
I
the brothers meeting back up scene.
uh-huh. I love
Yeah.
it. I love the fact that when the door knocks and he goes, well, should I answer it? And he's like, he ain't gonna knock twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it's the Dora Milaje, like whatever, like version was back then. But yeah, so
Every single Dora Milaje shaved their heads for this movie.
oh wow, that's commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
So like yeah, King T'Chaka shows up, and is it aged down acting again, or is it just a
No,
stand-in?
different. It's a stand-in.
I
Different
thought,
actor
yeah, I thought it didn't
completely.
look weird, which is nice.
No,
But
no.
yes, but also this one of these guys is Forrest Whitaker's son, isn't it? Playing a young
Yes,
version of Forrest
Zuri.
Whitaker, which is a very cool detail where you can get your
Yes.
son to be the young version of you.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, that's Zuri. Yes, it is Zuri because he says Zuri, son of.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
Zuri.
this is basically where we're getting a double, triple cross kind of thing where
Mm-hmm.
the king's younger brother has left Wakanda, fell in love with an American girl, and kind of seen the plight of like black people in America, and is very much like we need to help these guys. Like this is awful,
Mm-hmm.
but Wakanda's very hard on its stance of like we don't like sort of like interact with the outside world because that
Mm-hmm.
would just make us weak and sort of put us in danger. And that's the entire sort of turmoil of the movie is figuring out is one side or the other right, or I think by the end it becomes like a middle ground where
Mm-hmm.
they're going to start like outreaching and stuff. And unfortunately the king has to kill his brother because he sort of pulls a gun on the whole situation, and it gets all scary.
It gets messy. It's he's been selling vibranium.
Mhm.
Ursula Claw,
Oh god,
um,
yeah.
who has been a thorn in Wakanda's side for many, many years. He has allied himself with him. So
Yeah.
in the eyes of Wakanda, he is a traitor.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
like they don't really get into it, but I don't feel like Claw would have kept his end of the bargain and
no,
let him. Yeah. But yeah, they don't really even get into that sort of conversation through the movie. I think you're just supposed to assume Claw's bad news and like
he
you
well,
shouldn't do deals with him.
it's later on where it's like you understand the extreme nature of this man
Yeah.
because his friend who was played by, oh gosh, I can't even remember this guy's name, Daniel Kalula.
Yes.
um yeah, he goes into, he killed my parents, like, oh shit, like,
Mhm.
this is deep.
Yeah, because it was basically like he set off a bomb at the border as a sort of cover so he could get out with the vibranium, the same vibranium that got used to make Ultron giant, and all that stuff. So yeah, we're going. It is still linked to some older movies, but you don't really need to have seen Ultron chop his hand off to get why a guy called Claw has a sonic cannon instead of a hand. But yeah, he gets Panther clawed to the chest, and sadly, the king has had to take his own brother's life. And they just bounce on a what looks like a spaceship, and we sadly see who is a mystery at this point, but our young Killmonger kind of look up at the sky and then run back into the apartment
Yeah.
complex. We don't see it till later, but that's kind of his supervillain origin,
It
basically.
is. It very much is. So we go to present day, following T'Chaka's death,
Mm-hmm.
and this is his son T'Challa returning to Wakanda to reclaim the throne, or not to claim the throne. Now,
Yeah, there's like a quick little. It's not really worth talking about. There's a quick little sneak in mission that he does, isn't there, where he kind of gets
yes,
he gets Nakia back and kind of invites her to the coronation.
yeah,
He,
but
but yeah,
there is a scene here I think is totally breathtaking, and it always takes me by, oh, like a gasp, like I
yeah.
gasp at it, is when the flashlight
Oh,
pans on him and it's just him in the corner of the room, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
The
a
dogs
beautiful
sort of barking
shot.
at him, and they're like, what's going on?"
It is a
Um,
beautiful shot of his
yeah,
suit, of him in, like, just in stealthy, like, hiding
yeah,
mode, like, I'll go get you kind of thing.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I love that bit. But yeah, he gets his Nakia back, and he heads his way back after his little mission's done. He heads his way
yeah.
back
And we
to
get our nice
Wakanda.
fly in over the entire land and everything, and he's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, it never gets old."
I know. There was a few episodes ago, I think it might have been Civil War, where I was quite confused on T'Challa and his powers.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
because I wasn't too sure if it was like the power of the Black Panther, and it's
Like
very much,
magic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much made clear here. It is herbal based, and it can be given and it can be taken away.
Yeah,
Um,
but this it still seems like you have to do the
it's like
ritual around it, otherwise it doesn't quite happen. Like you still have to visit the ancestral plane. So
it's
it's kind of like a mixture.
it's murky for me as to when when would he have gotten it? Would he have gotten it? Was his daddy getting to the point of retirement
I
almost
think
of
so.
Black Panther, just Black Panther, not the throne, but the Black
Yeah,
Panther itself. So has he already gone through this before?
I think
Because
so.
Shuri
Yeah.
gives that impression at the ceremonial, like we all know how this is going to end. Can we just get it over with so I can get out this corset?
Yeah, I think like the implication is like it's maybe been like years that like had the
Mm-hmm.
superpowers and he's been sort of helping behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very much like we're not supposed to know Wakanda even exists as far as like, like the US, I guess, is the main character of the MCU. And they're very stealthy about how they appear outside of the world, and that's why I think he would probably mostly wear the Black Panther outfit. So you'd be like, oh well, I don't know who this is at all. I don't know it's the
Yeah.
prince. Um, but yeah, so this is where it got me thinking like, would this because to do his coronation, he has to accept challenges from any of the five tribes.
Mm-hmm.
To do that, they have to take his Black Panther power away, so it would be a fair fight.
Yeah.
And this is where it got me thinking like, would this little sippy juice work on Steve Rogers to take like his power away? Because it is the heart-shaped herb, like a sort of proto like
But
super
this,
soldier thing.
yeah, but it's isn't the serum a, like it's like ingrained into his DNA now because his whole DNA structure changes, like his whole body
he he
changes.
did get blasted with like like rays or whatever like
Mm-hmm.
Vita rays by like Howard Stark. So he
Uh-huh.
is different, but I'm wondering like is there enough shared like is the Black Panther thing like the perfect example that was the serum was like derived from? We'll never
Okay.
know probably
No.
because it's a
Well,
secret.
I love the introduction of Mother and
Yeah.
Shuri. I can't. I've just seen his mom's name. It's Raymonda.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because they do that thing where she like sticks her fingers up and she's like, jury.
Angela Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett, the absolute
Yeah.
queen. She was robbed at the Oscars with this in Black Panther 2. It was because her
Yeah.
performance carried that movie.
Yeah. Which like that just doesn't normally happen in like, blockbuster action films. Like
No,
an older woman does usually not get to have like massive roles unless it's like
no,
Judy Dench or whatever.
that woman can do absolutely no
Yeah.
wrong from, playing Tina Turner to being an American Horror Story
Oh yeah.
to going on to do Marvel movies and go to do, she even does TV as well. Like, there's nothing this woman hasn't touched.
It's a hell of
She
a
is
run.
amazing and she is beautiful and she deserved her Oscar.
Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, we've got this like sort of mountaintop waterfall ritual combat arena.
I
Um
love this when the boats are all coming in and the music is playing and
yeah.
the dancing is going on.
Yeah, and this shows some like weird tech where they like blast out sonic things and it raises stuff in the water and all
Well,
that cool stuff.
it really helps to tell you that, Wakanda is so technologically advanced.
Yeah,
This is the shit we can do.
you can't even understand what's happening because it's
Mm-mm.
like it's like so out there.
Yeah,
But yeah, so this is where we get our first actual, after being hinted at, glimpse of the secret fifth tribe who doesn't agree with Wakandan politics.
oh, but do we love them? We love them so much.
And Baku is just so much fun.
So the
I
best.
learned recently in the comics he is like called like man ape or something, and he's
Yeah,
like
isn't he like the white gorilla or something? Because
I
it's
think
something to do with it.
he literally looks like a man who's wearing a gorilla skin. I
Yeah,
did not look into this character too much, but they've redesigned him. to be more like symbolic in the way that they worship Bast, he worships Hanuman, who is like more of a monkey sort of like styled god.
Yeah.
um and yeah, they have a little fight, and this is our first chance to see Black Panther with no powers, how he's still
Yeah.
pretty good, and he knows his mixed martial arts moves because he manages to tap out M'Baku.
Winston Duke is absolutely phenomenal.
He's so
In
funny.
He's so good. Even when he is shit talking
Yeah,
T'Challa, it's still hilarious. But it's the line where Angela Bassett just screams, "Show him who you are," and he headbutts him and cracks his mask
yeah,
off his face. The look on Winston Duke's face is like, shit.
yeah. And like for a bit, we think he's not gonna yield because it's like yield or die, as Forrest Whitaker lays out for us. Those are the two ways to end this ritual.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker playing Zuri is do you know where how or what he based his characteristics off?
I don't know.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's so funny, considering this is probably how he got the Star Wars job as
Yeah.
well.
I've just looked up there. M'Baku is man-ape. You're
uh,
absolutely right. He was
uh,
introduced in 1969 in the
and he's a
Avengers issue
cannibal, which
62.
and he's a cannibal, which is why they make the joke about feeding him to his children later
That's
on.
where I got it from. I was so no, not that bit.
Don't think about it too much.
No, not no. That it's a. I knew something about M'Baku or what have I just called him? Manape. He plotted to usurp the throne of Wakanda with the help of the outlawed rival White Gorilla cult. I knew there was
Yeah.
something to do with White Gorilla in there.
Yeah, I think White Wolf is also a separate character
Yeah.
in Black Panther, but that's kind of what they name Bucky later on. So it's not really supposed to be that guy, but yeah,
Oh,
but yeah.
sorry. He's part of the Purple Man. Villains for Hire. Oh, that's interesting.
Ew.
Sorry, I'm gonna bookmark that. That's interesting. Sorry. Black Panther.
No, yeah. So like this is where we see T'Challa being good at combat. He taps him out, and if he hadn't let him live, like the whole end part of the movie would have gone totally much worse. So
Much worse, but it's what he says to him while he's telling him to tap out. You've got people who are relying on you. This is not
yes,
worth it. Like, you are defeated. There's nothing you can do about that. But you don't need to die to prove who you are. You have
yeah.
this tribe who needs you,
And this is
and
where
that's
like his sort of politics kind of start rubbing up against like what Wakanda's doing, because like after this and stuff, when he's been coronated and stuff, he's speaking to Nakia, and she's sort of like saying like Wakanda's strong enough to protect others and
hmm
protect itself at the same
yeah.
time. And it's very much like, yeah, like T'Challa should be there for everyone,
Yeah.
like instead
Oh,
of
Wakanda.
just and to be honest, it's mainly his family that he focuses on, like his
Yeah.
specific family line. We don't really see him chatting to the other tribes much, and that kind of,
No,
but you
and
see them lose faith in him a little bit when he
yeah, the
doesn't bring in
council.
Claw.
But the council is a good thing because
Mm-hmm.
it brings the center part of the tribe because you couldn't have T'Challa interact with the tribes and in its time it would just be it'd become messy and
Yeah,
confusing. So just to have that council of the tribe members was brilliant.
yeah. So yeah, we like we say, we get him. He starts getting his suit because we go to Shuri's lab pretty shortly after
Oh,
this
I
and get a little
love it.
demo.
What are those?
His royal
Um,
sandals,
oh,
yeah.
I love this. I love the greeting that they give each other.
Mhm.
How it's the fact that she calls him my king, and he's like, "Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
no, don't do that. You don't do that." But it's how advanced her lab is. Now, Shuri is when it comes to brains, she is classed as brainier than Tony Stark.
Yeah, because she's like had her entire life with this like
Yeah,
super advanced stuff. So
tech.
he's
Yeah,
still,
and we see that later on when she meets Bruce Banner, and he says, "Well, we did this," and she's like, "Well, why didn't you do this?" And he's like, "Because I didn't know how to do that."
Yeah,
Sure he's a clever cookie.
it does bring up some like not issues, but it's kind of like, oh, it's sad they didn't have this medical tech when Rhodey got blasted out the sky or anything. Like they could have probably put him back together much easier.
Oh,
Um,
and T'Challa was there for that.
exactly. But
Hey,
he picks Bilbo instead. That's his favorite outsider. But yeah, so
and also a very old man.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
the Winter Soldier. But hey, that's for later on.
So like, yeah, so we get a bit of a, it's a little bit James Bondy where she's like, oh, look at this gadget, look at this
Look at
gadget, this is how your suit works.
Look at this thing. Look at that thing. Look at this thing. It reminds
Yeah,
me of Scarlett Johansson.
and like and so like she shows him a couple of versions of the suit as well, where like one of them's got this big gaudy, like, like lion tooth, like panther tooth, I guess, necklace.
It's so when you look at it and then remember the final scene, you're like, oh yeah, that was how it was meant to be.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
is really how it was meant to be.
How like Killmonger would be like, oh yeah, I want this like sharp one with like the angry face and like the
Yeah.
leopard like print on top.
hmm
um and yeah,
Superb.
he gets some new shoes though. He gets some magic shoes that just go on his feet.
That don't make a sound. What do I
Yeah.
call them? Sneakers. But they did make a sound. They squeaked if nobody noticed.
I tried to listen, but I got a
They
big
squeaked.
dog who sometimes wanders around while I'm trying to watch things on TV.
I've got cats who just when they run it just goes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we find out that they've got a lead on Claw being kicking about in Korea,
hmm
because Korea is very popular, and the movie people wanted to film there, so they could get more views in Korea. But it's fine, it's fun. And yeah, suddenly we're off to like a spy party, aren't we? With
Yeah, this.
with everyone in like super special evening gowns.
We haven't mentioned part of the Dora Milaje who is I mean Lupita Nyong'o is not part of the Dora Milaje. She is just her own person. But we
Yeah,
do have the beautiful Denai Guerrera playing I can't think of her name.
it's a Koya.
Okoye, thank
Yeah.
you. Anytime I think of Denai Guerrera, it's going to be Michonne, from The Walking Dead, but she earns her place in Marvel movies, in this movie, in Infinity War, in
Yeah.
Endgame, and in Black Panther 2. She earns her place in this. Denai Guerrera is one of my favorite action actresses.
She's
Um,
so funny as well, which in The Walking Dead, she does not get to flex that muscle at
Oh
all.
no, not at all. I remember because I was a Walking Dead comic book fan, and I
Mhm.
remember when the silhouette of Michonne came on. It wasn't Denai Guerrera yet. She hadn't been
uh,
cast. It was the end of a season, and you got and the chains with the
mhm.
zombies, and oh my god, and the katana, and I'm like, yes, I can't wait for this. And then it's Denai Guerrera who's playing her, and instantly just fell in love with that woman. And
Yeah.
it radiates through this as well. I absolutely love her in this movie.
Yeah. She's a great addition to like the Marvel cast going
Yeah.
forward. So yeah, this is as I mentioned before, this is where friggin' Bilbo Baggins shows up, which is
They could have had anyone, by the way. They could have had literally any other person
yeah,
in the MCU or even outside of anyone. And they chose Everett K. Ross.
yeah, with his like terrible accent, which I hope Americans can hear that it's terrible.
I hope you realize we realize it's terrible too. Like we
Yeah,
aren't
that's
sitting there
true.
justifying it.
Yeah, we're not tricked by it either. So like, yeah. But yeah, so the CIA is involved. Sounds like they're trying to do a dummy deal with Claw to at least try and buy back some
Yeah.
vibranium.
So they've got one, Ross has got, which is weird to say a Ross because of,
Although,
you
yeah,
know,
he's the other
yeah,
Ross, the
he's the
less
other Ross.
the less impressive Ross.
I love I love Martin Freeman, and I have done ever since the UK office. You know, I think the man is absolutely
He's
fantastic.
okay when he plays an English nerd, but
But
yeah.
it's the accent. Like we talked about this with Doctor Strange. Now, when I originally heard Benedict Cumberbatch's American accent, you just went, "The fuck is that?" Because again, we know him from Sherlock.
It
He's a
drifts, I
posh
think.
Englishman.
I think with him it drifts sometimes. Like sometimes it's okay, and then other times it sort of pulls
But
you out of it.
now I listened, like even on the rewatch, I was like, okay, it's perfectly normal. I am so in
Yeah,
tuned now. That is totally
it's
fine.
close enough. Yeah.
But him?
No,
Sorry, Martin Freeman. I'm so sorry. You will always be Tim Canterbury. Canterbury
I liked him
Tales.
in Fargo, the TV show. He was
He
pretty
was
good in
really
that.
good in Fargo. Yeah,
Similar character to this, a guy who's sort of out of his depth in a
but didn't have
in
a
an
terrible
action
accent.
in an action situation.
But
Um,
there's
this
something
this
there's
oh
something
sorry, yeah,
I was just gonna say there's something very heartwarming about Ross later on. Like
yeah, he gets
he
there.
he has a yeah. Don't get us wrong. I don't want to shit all over this character like it already sounds like I have done. It's just you could have had anyone else.
Yeah, yeah. And we got plenty of charming, people to bring in. But yeah, like they do an arc with it, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense. They get somewhere with it. But yeah, this action scene, which kicks off now and goes on for a good long time, was absolutely amazing, and mostly completely forgot about it, and I
Hmm.
hadn't realized that it's just one continuous, like a casino party fight, which is a classic for action movies, and then it rolls into a car chase, and then it brings in elements of like superhero stuff with the kind of giant energy blasts just like
Yeah.
destroy the cars. It's just so good.
Yeah, the fighting in this film is actually based on African martial arts. So the
Yes, I
filmmakers,
noticed
oh
some like moves he was doing were definitely like, reminiscent
yeah,
of like stuff you'd see in Tekken and things like
yeah. So the
that.
filmmakers also cited the action scenes in Creed and The
Hmm.
Kingsman as influence on the style. And Kingsman, I totally and utterly 100% get.
Yeah, especially this big like party fight scene. Yeah.
Creed, not so much because I'm looking at Creed, I'm thinking boxing, and I didn't quite, you know,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
defense punch. Okay,
But it might
no.
just be like how they set the cameras up or
It
something they
could
were
have been
meaning.
it could have been the film style of it. Creed is very unique in its
Mhm.
styling of how it did its fighting scenes. So yeah, you're probably right.
But yeah, like I totally see like the Kingsman vibes because they do a lot with the furniture in the room as well, like tossing it around and like like rolling like tables over and stuff,
Yeah,
which everyone loves. There's a shoe throw in this. Like Okoye throws a
Paul would
wig at a
love
guy.
that.
Okoye throws a wig at a guy at some point to distract him. It's hilarious and
Because
great.
she looks so uncomfortable with that wig on, so uncomfortable. I've just found a fun fact that I just want to say before I go any further and
Yeah.
completely forget to mention it later on. You mentioned about the de-aging with T'Chaka.
Yeah, just if it yeah.
It wasn't. It was father and son.
Oh, they did that for that as well.
It was John Kanana and his son Atawada Kana who
Right.
played younger and older T'Chaka.
And so they did that with the Whitakers as
Isn't
well.
that fantastic?
That's very good. That's very convenient that everyone was roughly the right age to pull that off.
I know. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, sorry. That just, I've got me facts open and that kind of like just popped out
That's
to us. And I
okay.
was like, I'm not going to forget to say that. But yeah, this whole fight scene is just, it's breathtaking. It's atmospheric as well. You very much feel like you're amongst it and
Yeah.
in it. The aesthetic of it is so pleasing on the eye. The color palette that is used in this nightclub is just, lovely.
Yeah,
Lovely.
it doesn't block anything out because like the first action scene we see is quite dark and it's meant to be. It's supposed to be like
Mm,
stealthy and stuff. But like this, you can just like see everything that's going on. And when they
yeah.
get out into like the Korean sort of nighttime city, it's just like there's just like lights everywhere and it's a proper feast.
It's that red. I had an obsession as a teenager of Asian culture
Uh-huh.
and their colors, and I used to have this very amazing um fossil watch. and it was a
Oh yeah.
huge leather strap, and it had a massive chunky face on it, and in the middle was a deep red with like an Asian, like Oriental dragon going all the way
Mhm.
through it. It was beautiful, and I based my whole entire room on that watch and that
That's
red, and it
yeah.
really reminded me of that nightclub.
Oh,
I
that's
had
awesome.
Yeah, I had this really deep dark red bedroom. My dad did a color match so perfectly. Like we really did our homework on this. Like the
Yeah.
stencils that went around my room represented everything from like kind of, it wasn't just words, it was meanings, it was phrases, it was inspiration, it was like anything to do like that could be more inspiring to like wake up on a morning to. Yeah, I really
Nice.
I put a lot. Yeah, some of my dad's art, does kind of rub off us a little bit.
This is why Sammy's our fashion and visual aesthetics expert on this podcast.
But have no fashion sense myself. I still dress like a 14-year-old boy, but I appreciate things.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what I appreciated was real car crashes because you can tell
Mm,
that this is real cars flipping up and down the streets, which it always looks amazing.
yeah.
And when you can flip a real car, you should do it because it makes your action scenes way more exciting.
Just doesn't this movie just have everything? It has
Yeah,
a story on family, it has a love story, it has action, it has
crime.
suspense,
Yeah,
it has crime. It is literally covering and ticking every single box.
it's a revenge story as well. Like
And as we found out when I did my last Monsters episode, I love revenge stories.
Do you like a good person getting revenge though, or a bad guy getting stopped from
It's
their revenge?
It's the no, it's the person. It's so Kill Bill is probably one of my. I
I
love
love
that
it.
movie
I love
so
that
much,
too.
and that is for me one of the ultimate revenge movies. And it's
Yeah,
going through like I've been wronged in this situation by all these people, and I know I'm going to take them out one by one. I'm going to punish every single one of them, to then I get to the main one, and boom. Yeah, I love that type. Like the Count of Monte Cristo. I remember
yeah,
watching that with Anth, and it was the Guy Pearce one and the guy who's in Passion of the Christ. He's got beautiful brown eyes. His eyes are absolutely breathtaking. Watching that because it's another story of revenge, but it's also like having to get to that point of like,
yeah.
and now
That
I take my
one,
revenge.
that one gets brought up a lot as like people's inspirations for like so many stories.
I've
But
never
yeah,
seen the original, but the remake of it
yeah.
is just I thoroughly enjoyed it. But again, I just love people getting their Aquamans. I really do. Or
Well,
comeuppance, I should say.
it's an interesting it's interesting thought at this point though because T'Challa sort of foregoes his revenge because everyone's like, "Ooh, not in front. The world is watching. Don't just stab Claw in the
Mm,
neck or whatever." And he sort of has to like put his revenge to one side to be like, "Okay, let's try and be smart about this," which may have been the wrong choice in this
mm.
case. Um, but yeah, like I found this bit really interesting because obviously everyone knows now Andy Serkis is just ungodly amazing at anything he seems to try and do.
Everything
I
he
don't know
does.
what's up with that guy.
It's
Um,
just like if the universe just went, you know what, mate? You can have it all.
yeah,
Everything.
he can just be like a really impressive actor who also has enough fun that he's not afraid to like
Yeah,
be in Planet of the
and you're
Apes
not,
and stuff.
and he's not afraid to take risks either. There's a
Yeah,
lot of risk taken with the work that he did. It could have
yeah.
really fell flat on its arse if the
Like
technology he was using
Gollum could have been a career killer for most people. Like
massively.
having that be your like stupid voice that like that you get typecast as or
And then
whatever.
you then work on how to motion capture it so you could
Yeah.
technically play it yourself. Like, who does that? That's right, Andy Serkis does that because
But
he
like
is just phenomenal.
I know he's just so like captivating. Like that's why I was really sad that he dies in this movie because I'm like, God damn it, he's taken away.
Yeah, it could have been nice to have Clara as one of those characters who's like and like an ominous ending of, oh, was he actually dead? Could he come
Well,
back?
the thing with a guy like that is he's the guy you go to when you need like some shady deal to go down.
Mm,
So he's good to have in the background that so other characters can meet him or he can be like in prison and they have to go and work with him because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
he's the only guy who knows like how to get us through this.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like when he's in the interrogation scene, it's awesome because he's all like laughing and joking, like singing like songs and that. Like,
This is one of the only recent movies he's done where his whole body is being used and it's just him.
yeah,
No motion capture, no nothing. No, he's not hiding behind anything. It's just him. And this
yeah,
is one of the rare movies where he's done that.
yeah, true. He's done some TV where he acts as himself. Him and
Oh,
Forrest are in Andor, if you didn't know. as as two really fun characters to watch.
Forrest Whitaker's in Andor. Is it? He's Rogue.
Oh yeah,
Oh
Saul
yeah, he will
Guerrera's
be.
in it.
Yeah, Sol Guerrero. Yeah.
He's so fun in that.
I remember when people lost their mind over that, and I was like, I don't get it. Oh, I've watched. I get it now.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is where he tells like Ross the sort of real story of Wakanda in this kind of like gross way where he's like they're lying to you. Like they said I stole all the vibranium, like they have an entire mountain full of it. But like yeah, the way he's going about it is very much to like turn Ross on them and try and get him
Yeah,
like over to his side. It's very like slimy, but what he's saying is kind of true, in that they have like all these weapons and stuff. But like the problem is like they have no intention of like turning these on anyone, like the weapons themselves. Like
mm-hmm.
it's not as if they're like amassing an army to take over. It's
Yeah,
more that they've just got way too much protection for themselves.
yeah.
But yeah, it's America, so that puts the scares on Ross, and he's kind of like, "Is what he says true?" and all that. And this is where Okoye is ready to like kill him. Basically, she's just
She's
like,
ready to stab a bitch.
yeah, she's just like not even talking to him in like a language you can understand.
Nope.
Um, but because there's all this petty infighting, friggin' Killmonger blasts through the wall, and they manage to like just grab Claw out from under everyone's nose,
Yeah,
and Ross takes a bullet,
yeah. So
unfortunately.
Eric, who is Killmonger, is an ex-US Black Ops Navy SEAL,
Yeah.
and Killmonger comes from the amount of kills that he's made, and for every marking that is on him
Mhm.
is kind of like a contribution or a number to gauge where his kill mark is.
Yeah. He's basically taken it's basically like how does he be a warrior in America as far as like what you can get away with in America.
Yeah,
He has gone to like the
and he
the,
is
the max level of like,
and
yes,
he is so fucking angry. He
yeah.
comes with not just baggage from being a Navy SEAL, he
Yeah.
comes with major fucking dad issues.
Yeah.
And he had his whole family. Like, what his dad was doing in the beginning of the film was planning the outbreak of his mother who was in prison.
Mhm.
So his mother was incarcerated. His father is then killed. Like, he is angry and he needs to put that anger somewhere, and Wakanda's gonna get it.
Yeah. He's angry, sexy, and strong,
My
unfortunately.
God,
He's a
that man is
he's a
stupidly beautiful.
he's a triple threat guy.
He is. I mean, the whole Michael B. Jordan, the fact that Ryan Coogler managed to put two of them in a film is just
he knew what he was doing.
the greatest thing ever. But I love the aesthetic of him, how he looks, the costumes, the hair.
Yeah.
What he's wearing in the museum is just breathtaking. It's so unassuming of who he is. You cannot tell from the clothes that he is wearing that
Mhm.
he is one, badass motherfucker.
Yeah,
Um,
we accidentally skipped over the museum mini heist thing, but that's the
yeah,
first time we see him, but he's not revealed, like the identity is kept a secret.
you still don't know who he is, but he
Yeah.
has a knowledge of Wakanda, and he very much makes it like he's putting his cards on the table a little bit here,
Mhm.
or he might be just showing them a little bit because he's saying the artifact here that you have isn't from where you think it is. It's actually Wakandan, and I'm
Mhm.
going to take it off your hands. And she's
Yeah.
like, No, you're not." And he's like, "How the hell do you think you got it? You
Yeah,
stole it
exactly.
from my ancestors." And I'm taking it back. And he kind of gives you a glimpse of who Eric is in that moment. Um, to kind of like where he is in all of this, where his mind is.
It's very much like an eye for an eye, but he is, he's had one like, bad thing happen to him and
Oh,
now he's I'm taking everyone's eye sort of
oh
thing.
yeah. I'm gonna take your eyes. I'm gonna take your teeth. I'm gonna take your
Yeah,
skin. I'll take everything. Like he
yeah.
is literally, he is after revenge
Mhm. On a
in a
lot of
big,
different people. Yeah.
yeah. He's got a list. But in this moment when he break he takes Claw.
Yes.
Um,
And he's got his mask on that he also stole from the museum, which I think is like a allusion to comics. Like he did have a kind of pointy
right.
horned mask at some point.
Well, at least someone managed to pull off a pointy horned,
Yeah.
thing good in a good way. Because as Guardians couldn't do it.
It's not an insect. um, but yeah, so like we sort of see like he like damages the suit enough that it kind of sets off the like the shockwave before T'Challa's ready sort of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, because that's the advancement in the Black Panther suit is that it's kinetic. So we see nanotech before Tony has even fucking introduced it yet.
yeah,
Shuri has already cracked it, but she's
and
also put kinetic energy into it as well.
down the line, this is how Sam Wilson will be able to stand up to a lot more punishment than a human man should be able to,
Exactly.
because he's got some Wakandan tech with him. But
Yep.
this
But
is
it,
where
oh,
I was
gone.
I was just gonna say this is where T'Challa is very smart and clocks his sort of father's ring around Killmonger's neck, and he's
Yeah.
like, "What the hell? That's supposed to only be for the royal family."
So
And
it
that's
kind
what
of
kind
gives
of
you a little hint.
yeah, that's what like leads them down the path to like figure this whole thing out before everyone else.
Hmm.
Um, that he is indeed the sort of his uncle's son, the heir to the throne.
Yeah. So Eric takes Claw.
Yeah,
Ross is
this is really silly. They have a little fight in an airport, don't they?
yeah,
Like a
yeah. Ross is injured, protecting
Mhm.
Nakia. So that kind of is a gateway into, well, we're gonna have to help him.
Yeah.
Like
And when they see him bring Ross in, this is where he sort of loses the faith of the border tribe because they're like, "You said you
you
would come back with Claw no matter what,"
and
and
look who you've brought back.
you let him get away basically.
You've brought the
Um,
worst American accented Englishman into our tribe. How dare
uh,
you?
yeah.
Um,
And so yeah, this is where Killmonger also goes full mask off, literally and figuratively, and is like, I don't care about this girl I've sort of been dating. I'm gonna shoot her, and then I'm gonna shoot Claw, and I'm taking this
it's
plane to Wakanda myself.
yeah. So, but in the meantime, though, before Eric arrives at Wakanda, and Shuri is looking after Ross, it's Zuri who tells the story of what happened.
Yeah.
And that's why Eric is wearing the necklace because it was his dad's.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, it was the rings the brothers had. And that's the reason why he recognized it, 'cause his father had one exactly like that.
Yeah, because Najobi wanted to disillusion Wakanda's isolation,
Mhm.
and he wanted to share the technology. He wanted the people of his people to outside of Wakanda to get the same aid as what the
Yeah.
Wakandans were getting. He wanted to how Nakia put it earlier on in the film is exactly what Najobi wanted to do.
Yeah, possibly. I think his is more of a like violent uprising sort of idea on it than Nakia sort of
You are,
had.
yeah,
But
you're
yeah,
absolutely right because Nakia is all about aid and
yeah,
protection
I think
and
these guys were more like we need to like be able to fight the oppressors, which is also true. Like you need the power to fight the oppressors also, in
but
addition
and
to
but then
like
Wakanda
yeah,
just goes, then we don't oppress ourselves, we don't open
yeah,
ourselves up, we don't give them the opportunity, and we can live happily ever after, and everyone
yeah.
else can go and fuck off.
Because they're basically their thinking is as soon as we open up the borders to be like, okay, we'll take people in, that
Hmm.
puts them on the radar for people to try and take what they've got.
Yeah,
And it's like it's understandable. And there's
it's such a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because
yeah,
you can see both sides of the argument, but
yeah.
you, I wouldn't know how to. I think T'Challa in the end does make the right decision.
Mhm.
Um, no. Sorry. I just something distracted us. I don't know if you managed to pick that up, but I heard a dunk
Oh,
and me
it's
cat's
it can always be a cat doing something. You can never tell.
could have just been me bottle expanding. I have
Yeah,
a
true.
I have a fabric bottle on the thingy. It might have just been that. Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's all
Back in the
right.
room.
So yeah, no, it's fine. So like basically how Killmonger plans to get in everyone's good graces is to bring Claw's body, because he does luckily
Well,
shoot him.
it's almost like a bit of it's almost like a slap in the face to T'Challa. It's
Yeah.
like you couldn't do it, cousin, but I could.
Yeah,
Look
like
who I got.
the mention it as well. Like this is basically what he's been trained to do. Like his sort of Black Ops team was
Hmm.
sent in to destabilize governments, and they're like,
Yeah,
that's exactly what he's doing with Wakanda. Like he's playing every card right. Um, in a kind
and
of
winning.
unrealistic superhero movie type of
But
way where he's always one step ahead. But
and he's winning.
yeah,
He is really winning this. It's the way he walks in and goes, "Hey, auntie," and I'm like, "Oh my God,
yeah.
you
Um,
could not be any more beautiful if you tried."
Yeah, and he basically comes in and is like, "I want the throne," and everyone sort of laughs at him. And he's like, "But why not? Because
I'm challenging.
I'm challenging. I'm in line, of royal blood, in line for the
Hmm.
throne." Um, and yeah, so
Does Killmonger have the mark of Wakanda on his under his lip or not?
yeah, he does. Yeah, I think he
He's
has it pretty much immediately. It must have it as a kid. I'm not sure how you get that or anything, but I think it
I
allows you
can't imagine it be.
passage.
I can't imagine it be true. But yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I can't imagine traditional tattoo gun would do something like that. I mean, you can barely
No,
get them to stay in that
it's
position to
got to be
start with.
vibranium, right? Everything's vibranium here.
That would be amazing.
It's like used as like a sort of dust. That's how they sort of have communicators, where it sort of builds a like little puppet version of who you're talking to. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So he challenges T'Challa to the throne, and T'Challa has no reason to say no.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? Because it's like he can't really say no, and he shouldn't say yes. Also,
Yeah.
he's totally like backed into a
Again,
corner.
T'Challa is in throughout this entire movie. He is put between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, yeah. Because if he says no, then he's kind of like thrown out the whole like ritual nature of everything. Like the
Exactly,
the
and it
their
just
their laws.
well then yeah, because then it is he a dictator because he can
Yeah,
make these changes that you know.
but it's
So
also not really fair for Killmonger to come in and be like, "I want to
no.
go."
Especially when he's just already done it with M'Baku. Like that was bad
Exactly.
enough. But yeah,
Um,
they go off and have their fight.
and it's awful. Like I was saying, this is
It's
the part where
horrible.
the music starts like swinging with whoever's winning. But T'Challa just gets like sliced up, and it's awful. And then yeah, he throws him off a cliff, which is straight out of the comic books. Like this
Yeah.
actually happened at some point with the same characters.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's presumed that T'Challa is dead.
yeah, and it's tough because like this is a weird thing where the kind of painted as unrealistic that he takes the throne, but also realistic in the way that like, well, how can we stop him? Because it goes against our entire like sort of society
Yeah.
and how it's built. But also a lot of them are like, well, we don't follow this man as king.
Yeah.
And he has a sort of mini uprising building underneath him that he doesn't seem to either notice or doesn't think it'll be a threat when everyone eventually
Yeah.
gets sick of him.
Well,
Um,
after he
yeah,
throws him off the cliff, Killmonger then has to go and do the ritual. He has to be given now the power of the Black Panther and go through to his ancestral plane, and he's a dick about it.
exactly. But he meets his father. The only thing I noted about this scene is it's not very effective when he goes back and talks to his dad. There's
It's
not
not the same as when T'Challa sees his dad,
no
because
there's
that is such an emotional gut punch.
yeah, but even then though, I think this could have been, but it's not really written like that. It's a little
No,
bit sort of, but I wonder if they were doing like, well, Killmonger's not very emotional, so therefore he's not giving his father anything to work with,
it
you
should
know?
have been though. Like this is something,
Yeah,
eh, regardless of what he's done. and
He,
who he is. He was a little boy who walked in
yeah.
to an apartment building and found his dad dead.
And he's doing this for like the
Him.
memory of his dad
Well,
for the most part.
it's his dad's legacy.
Yeah.
Uh, he obviously knew enough to know what his dad stood for, so
Yes, because
he's trying to continue
yeah,
his legacy on.
because we see in this scene he gets the little book that helps him translate Wakandan and shows him where it is on the map and everything with the
Hmm.
little coordinates, which apparently go to the top right corner of the Republic of Congo or something, which is
Right.
roughly on the map where the MCU will say it is.
Oh, okay.
So they did
That's
the
detail.
homework on the coordinates. Um,
100%.
yeah, and like you said, he's a dick about it. And
Yep.
he burns all the other herbs so no one else can use the Black Panther power after or against him.
Bar
Um,
one.
oh yeah,
Because
Nakia
Nakia
sneaks one out in a little
manages to steal one.
ninja cloak.
Yeah. Yeah, he burns everything because basically he is a dictator now. And
Yeah.
what he says goes, and no one else is going to have this power because it's all his.
And this is
Um,
something, this is like they say it's right out of his playbook. Like this is something that countries do when they go in somewhere that sort of they destroy like churches and things. And it's like they basically try and make the culture weaker because that
yeah,
then sort of feeds into everything like over time.
and then they can build new, and the
Yeah.
timeline starts now.
Yeah.
You forget everything prior because this is the now. When Nakia manages to steal one, she Shuri Angela Bassett
Mhm.
and Ross flee to the Jabari. I can say it.
Yes. That's the
Jabari tribe.
yeah, sorry, I didn't
But
remember that name before. Yeah, that's what they're
um,
called, the mountain ones.
oh my God, I love this interaction with Umbaku when
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, we will eat you for dinner," and he's
Yeah.
like, "I am kidding. We are vegetarians."
Yeah, he's not actually the man, Abe. Don't worry,
No,
everyone.
he's kind of not. He has such a level of respect for T'Challa, like a
Yeah,
huge level of respect, and it's
yeah.
possibly because of the way he handled. Because you got to think when Baku came in like balls swinging in
He
that
could have,
fight,
and he could have died.
he
Like, let's
could have
face
killed
it.
him.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think he's got a whole like not a new, but a lot of respect for him,
I
and
think
that
like
is clear because it then moves on into other movies, doesn't it?
yeah, like he definitely like wants to do him a favor at this point, and he has no like ill will towards like the family specifically, but
No,
he definitely wants his ear because he does like have words with him later, like about more sort of
yeah.
political things. But I'd totally forgotten this mini plot line that they were thinking about giving the Black Panther powers to M'Baku, like the
Hmm.
herb sort of thing. I just
Yeah.
totally forgot that was even floated as an idea. That would be an interesting what
It
if
would
episode.
be. Oh, that would be a brilliant one. Well, what the Nakia, Shuri, Angela Bassett, and Ross don't know is that the Jabari tribe have already found T'Challa. They already rescued them, and they did it as a repayment for sparing M'Baku's life.
Yeah,
So
they fished him up and they're trying to keep him alive, but they're kind of like,
putting him in
well,
ice.
yeah, he's in a coma, so I don't know how long they were expecting him to last.
Yeah, and
Um,
this is where Nakia is like, "Oh, I got the herb. That's such
yeah,
good timing. Let's give him it."
and they have to sort of like put their own version of the ritual together, and it's sort of a bit sloppier, and but they still end up like doing all the steps.
He still manages to get there because he gets into the astral plane
Hmm.
and fuck me does he give it to his daddy. Like he really
Hmm.
hands his dad his ass because he's like, how could like you one, you didn't tell us I had an uncle. Two, I had no idea I had a cousin who was gonna fucking try and come and claim my throne. And three, you handled that really badly.
Yeah, and created a threat basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, though, as we've seen in other, like you were saying, like King revenge stories, even if they had got Killmonger, it happens to Thor and Loki. Even if they had took Killmonger back, they
Yeah.
still might have fought. Like,
Yeah.
this is basically Loki's backstory as well. Like, he was
It's
the
true.
child that was taken by the king that murdered everyone, but it still ended up kind of bad for them as well.
Yeah. Doesn't work
Um,
out, lying
yeah,
to your children. Never works out. But yeah, he leaves the astral plane, but he comes back as the Black Panther.
yeah, and
Well,
he's
yeah.
got his backup. No, no, Shuri's got his original suit. You know,
Yeah, because Killmonger has now got
he's got
the gold one.
the rejected one, yeah,
Yeah,
the too gaudy one.
but it's his. It's so his suit. It's almost like Sherry could have predicted something like this was going to happen. That was not a suit made for T'Challa.
It's more like violent and sort of like it has teeth on the front, like designed around like the around the face and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
it's beautiful. The suit is beautiful. The way when he's standing on the rocks and he just it's like he's striking a pose, but the suit is like
Yeah, and it's sort
coming
of like it like
off.
cuts his other clothes off, sort of thing, in an
Mm,
interesting way. Yeah, the thought about
yeah,
stuff.
they did. They thought about so much. But yeah,
I
this is. Oh god.
There's a couple of moments here I thought were like a little bit cheesy, like how it had like evil hip hop music whenever Killmonger was like getting up to business.
I quite like it. It's very
I
Ryan
know
Coogler, so I kind of like it a
it is,
lot.
but I was just like, oh, it's like whenever he shows up, like the evil beat
Yeah.
kicks in.
His friend and what's Denai Guerrera's character called again?
The
Okoye.
border. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Okoye. When Okoye, her husband or
Yeah, we didn't
partner,
mention they're sort of like dating and
their
he's sort of betrayed
relationship.
everyone. It's
He
very
does at this point, but well, he does explain.
complicated.
He explains his hatred for Claw, where he's
Mhm.
like, "You killed my parents, and we can do this. We'll fight side by side, brother. We can do this together." And T'Challa reassures him that, yeah, I'm going to bring him home, hell or high water. He is coming to face trial and face for his crimes. And when he doesn't carry that out, it leaves such a bad taste in his mouth that he's
Mhm.
like, "Well, if you didn't do this," and it's like. And then you've got somebody who not only has he's brought him dead to me. He also is now looking to do things in a different way, and
And
he does steer his ship
he wants
over.
change. He thinks he wants change.
He thinks he does.
Like that's what he says. He was like, oh, when you took over from your father, it was supposed to be like different, and it's
Yeah,
like
and it's
you're
not. It's
still the
been
same.
exactly the same. Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, he has shifted sides. But did you know? I love when I'm able to pull out a did you know? The rhinos are horses.
what like the motion captured horses,
Yes!
right? Okay, that's very inventive.
Isn't it? What a way of like, yes.
Because I've seen people motion capture horses before for like video games and stuff, so you can get like how all the muscles work.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously really complicated to try and figure out yourself.
Yeah. They're horses. Yeah, so a big fight's gonna happen,
Mhm.
basically. Ross even gets in on the action
Yeah, he
by
gets a little space.
yeah, and his spaceship is the Royal Talon remote pilot system.
Oh, so it's like T'Challa's ship basically that he's piloting
The
around.
voice in there, you know how it
Yeah,
all tech
the
it
bad
has a
American
voice,
voice.
is actually South African comedian Trevor Noah.
All
He
right, okay.
Trevor
Doing
Noah had a very distinct voice. He is a political comedian
yeah,
on American TV.
but they did like the sort of she framed it as like, oh, I've set it on American for you, and it's like, hello, Ross, like type of thing, like when he sits down. Um,
It might as well went howdy there.
yeah, yeah, they probably should have, but so yeah, he's doing his little bit to try and stop the weapons going out by shooting down all the ships remotely. So you
And
get some.
even when he's like the low percentage of capability of being able to carry this out, he
Mhm.
still perseveres. He is you know he's got a respect now
Yeah,
there's some deep affection there for Wakanda because it saved his life.
he
So
puts his life on the line.
he
Yeah,
does, he does.
absolutely.
Honestly, accent aside, Ross is not a like he does grow on you
Yeah, that's what I was
again.
meaning with like the get there eventually.
Yeah,
It's like
eventually, but in the beginning you are very much could we have not just had like General Ross? Like could that not have worked?
oh no, he would have been terrible. Like, yeah, as soon as he sees the military
Oh,
applications of
the
Wakanda,
minute he knew about
like,
Wakanda,
yeah,
he's like, I'm just gonna leave
can I
now.
have
I'm gonna
all of the guns?
so they're in Korea. General Ross finds out that what's actually happening and Wakanda's actually real, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna bounce now, and I'm gonna go and
Yeah,
spread all your secrets, and we're gonna come and
yeah
invade.
he does the deal with Claw, doesn't he? Like,
Yeah,
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 basically.
it's a totally different story. That's
And we see how
that's
much
for
he
sure.
wanted. We see how much he wanted adamantium later on as well. So yeah, can't be
Yeah.
trusted with resources. That man.
No, no, we cannot.
Um,
So
so
I
yeah,
think they got the right Ross for this.
this is where the big brawl breaks out between everybody. Shuri's got a little panther gauntlets, like shooting out, like yeah,
She looks so scared, but so
yeah,
she just she looks like a little girl who's
yeah.
like, I don't know, it's so it because these things are so big, and she it's almost like she's never used them before, so she's like
Probably not.
figuring it
Yeah,
out, and oh, she looks terrified, but she stands her ground when it comes
yeah.
down to her horrible cousin Killmonger.
Yeah, because he pretty much takes out the Dora Milaje, like, in a big. He uses the energy blast thing again to knock them all away. Um, it's very overpowered because like he's getting hit a lot,
Yeah,
so he gets to use it a
but
lot.
the
And yeah,
fight isn't.
I was gonna say, as he's about to kill Shuri, that's when our old Black Panther comes in to save the day,
Oh yeah,
tackles him all the way down the hole.
oh yeah, and then while so they are going off into their now fight,
Mhm.
M'Baku and the Jabari tribe have arrived.
Yeah, they actually do come to help because they
Of
basically
course they
refuse
do.
to. But they see some rhinos running amok and they're like, nah, I'm stopping that.
Yeah, so this is a great fight scene. Very confusing on the eye at some points.
Mhm.
Just for me personally, especially someone who's very sensitive to high speed motion.
Yeah,
The train and
I was
yeah,
gonna say like the actual fight between Black Panther and Killmonger is kind of not great. Like
no,
I guess it's supposed to, we're probably trying to go for like, oh, it's super frantic and everyone's like really angry right about now.
yeah.
Um,
There's a lot of anger spilling out in this, but for visually, it's not messy. I'm not going to say it's messy because that is not the word I'm looking for. It's just it's so quick, and there's
yeah, like
so
visual.
much
I
going
think like
on.
maybe visually noisy might be what you
That's
kind of.
really good
Yeah.
way of putting it.
But yeah, so like they basically end up using the sort of the sonic waves that sort of shuts down vibranium and it sort of makes the suit not really coalesce into its full
Mm.
thing. And that's what allows him to get a big old stab in finally. Something touches Killmonger because he's been pretty untouchable throughout this whole film.
Yeah, he really has to the point where you could have at one, even when T'Challa, sorry, comes back from the dead,
Mhm.
you still think to yourself, well, Killmonger will do it again.
Yeah, like
Like he's
it's not a done deal. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. But no, he gets a stab in, and this moment is so beautiful,
yeah.
so perfectly written. The scenery in it, the sunset that's taken place, it's so poetic. It's in the dialogue as well from
Yeah,
both sides is it's beautiful.
yeah, this is where they finally managed to get some like proper like
Level ground.
heart into the
Hmm.
Killmonger story as well because he's been fairly like ineffectual to like everyone as far as we've seen so far. Um and yeah, basically this was the thing his father said he would show him one day was like
Yeah, the
the
sunset.
sunset. And he's also alluded previously to be like the sun will never set on the Wakandan Empire, just meaning that it'll be a global thing.
Yeah,
So
it's when T'Challa says, you know, we can save you, and he knows he can. He knows if he
yeah,
takes him to Shuri, he would be able to save him. But no, Killmonger wanted to go out, in his way.
yeah,
You know, this was all his. He does say a line, and I will butcher it if I try and repeat it, but it's so fitting to the person who he is. You
yeah.
gotta
It's like
hand it to him. He is the same person from the minute you see him to the minute he dies.
yeah, and unfortunately, it's a broken person who could maybe never be happy at this
No,
point in his life.
it's this so much has happened.
He's too angry to even take life, like a second
Yeah,
chance or anything. But yeah, like I've got like a bit of the line here. But it's basically like death is better than bondage. Like he doesn't he just thinks he'll get put in prison if they heal him. And then how is that any better than just dying here, sort of thing, you
Yeah.
know?
And then you just have this lovely shot where it just, the two of them are staring out into the
Hmm.
sunset. And as it pans away, you just see Killmonger collapse to the floor.
Yeah, yeah. And
It's
it's sad
so,
because he's a
it's
really good
so sad.
villain, but at the
It's,
same time, like,
he could have been such a great anti-villain as well, because
yeah,
there's something so redeemable about him. You know, everything that's happened to him is because of certain events,
yeah,
and if that could have kind of changed, not changed, but if he could have, built on something, on some common ground with T'Challa, but also been, I don't want to say like Loki, where it's constantly like, he's showing you
yeah,
one bit and
they couldn't have that kind of
no,
silly
but
relationship. Yeah.
there's just, I feel like Killmonger could have, there could have been more. And don't get us wrong, what we got out of him in this movie was nothing. Well, it's breathtaking.
Yeah, it was the main thing people were talking about like
Yeah.
afterwards and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Um.
it's interesting when they are brave enough to have a character who's just too broken
Yeah.
to reconcile or do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. He was far beyond repair.
Yeah, yeah,
There was nothing. I don't want to say there's no, like I say, no redeeming qualities, because that's not the case at all. It's just there's so much to unravel that you would be there for a lifetime trying to fix this person.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
couldn't, I don't think like T'Challa could ever truly trust him, like to not stab him in the back, literally.
Again, you said it earlier perfectly. He's an eye for an eye kind of guy.
Yeah. And he would take this as another slight against him, I think.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I was king and you took it from me.
Yeah. And then, but essentially you took it from him. But
Yeah.
that's not how somebody who has been through what he has is going to look at.
Yeah.
Even him stabbing him, you stabbed us, I'll stab you back. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's gonna be very back and forth.
There's obviously like a different world where this is obviously not, they could never have anticipated anything happening to
No,
like Chadwick, but you could see
no,
a world where Killmonger did become the next, like the real Black Panther, but
yeah,
even then that might have been too much of a change of like, attitude in the character.
yeah.
Like it might have been worse than, passing it on to like Shuri and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh
But
well,
people are always going to theory craft that type of thing, in
yeah.
Reddit threads and stuff.
Well, after this, this, uh,
Tragedy.
yeah, T'Challa then established an outreach center at the building where Najobi died,
Yeah, that's really cool how like the
which,
little kid comes up to him all excited at the end. He's like, "Is this yours?" Like the ship and everything.
yeah, so where this was filmed was not far away from Martin Luther King's, um, I want to say I had it here somewhere
I
earlier.
think it's where Ryan Coogler grew up as well.
It's like not far away from the hotel where he died.
Is it like
Um,
Oakland, did they say?
I want to say so, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it had something to do with the of possibly where he's done speeches or something along those lines. But Martin Luther King was very much there
Hmm.
because his daughter came to the set
Oh
and
wow.
blessed it and blessed the movie. So
Nice.
yeah,
It's definitely where Coogler's from as well, though. So it's got a link there, which is like super nice for him to do.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, he goes and he creates an outreach program there, which is just, it's so fitting.
and like this is the kind of cool stuff that they don't always focus on in like superhero or like high tech universes. It's like, oh yeah, what are some examples of ways we could do better? And like,
Yeah.
given the kids like a super education and like all the resources they need, like that's a very cool thing to finally see.
Oh, aha. Yeah, it's incredible. So yes, he reveals that, and that Shuri is actually going to be the head of that.
Yeah.
It's going to be run by Nakia and Shuri, and then we've got the mid-credit scene where
Mm.
T'Challa then appears before the United Nations to reveal Wakanda's true nature to the world.
So I don't know why this is like an Easter egg or anything, but apparently this was originally the end of the regular movie, and at some point it got shifted to the mid credits. I don't know why that's important or interesting, but it's apparently some trivia.
Editing
um,
choices.
But yeah, this is like a super. This is where I was saying some of the language can feel a little bit like not as cutting as it maybe
Mm,
should be for the times we live in. But
yeah.
it's very much it's there's parts where it's taking shots at Trump directly because like the line is like in times of crisis the wise build bridges while the foolish build barriers, and it's like that's just directly at Trump's like stupid wall sort of stuff and like all that rhetoric
I'm
that was
gonna
going
build a
around at the time.
wall.
Um and yeah, it's just a like Wakanda will no longer watch from the shadows, and they kind of come out to the world, and like there's that like dickhead guy who's like, what can a bunch of farmers really bring to like the world?
Oh, bitch, you've got no
He
idea.
just he gives like the third smirk without saying anything of the movie.
Yeah.
That's like his main
Um,
move.
yeah. And the end, the final credit scene is where we see Bucky Barnes minus his arm in
Yeah,
rehabilitation, and it's Shuri who is helping him. And this is such a because Shuri absolutely hated the fact that Ross was in her lab, was
yeah,
in her shit. Like she absolutely hated it. So to then see her, she was so caring and understanding and we are going to fix you, you are going to be better, we are going to take everything that you have, all the nasty, we're going to take care of it, or I am going to take
yeah.
care of it.
He says like he's feeling better, which is nice for Bucky
It's
finally.
nice to know that.
I
um
like how the kids are bothering him as well at the start of the scene, like
yeah,
just standing over him while he's asleep and then running away. It's
yeah.
very good.
I've got a few facts that I've kind of like my eyes have, and there's one of them I'm gonna cry because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I mention that at the end.
Oh no.
Um, See, this is why I need to be more prepared, Jake, because stuff like this, I would have had it instantly. This is the first comic book superhero film in 40 years since the original Superman in 1978 to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Music, Original
Oh, that's
Score.
that's pretty cool. I do like the music in this has had like a ton of work put into it.
So, yeah. But in
Yeah.
fact, Superman and Black Panther are the only two comic book superhero films to be nominated in this category, with the latter being the first to receive the award.
Nice.
Very nice. Now, I want to just go on something that I mentioned earlier about the scars on Eric.
Yes.
I want to clear that up. So Eric Killmonger's body um is as a form of its body modification. It's called scarification.
Yes, I nearly said that before.
It's a
Yeah.
dying tradition carried out by some African tribes. Some tribes use it as a form of identity slash social status, and some to mark milestones achieved in life. For
Mm.
Killmonger, I mean, I was writing away. So for Killmonger, each scar represents a person he had killed. Him
Yeah.
doing this to his body can also be seen as a misguided way for him to connect with his African ancestry.
Yeah. And like, if you haven't seen the movie, he has like hundreds, so he's
Yeah.
killed a lot.
So I kind of got it right with the whole, it's a marking of, his kills, but there is a deeper thing behind it.
Yeah, that's a fun little sort of addition where it's like, yeah, it is kind of like a misguided try to be part of Wakanda sort of thing. A
Yeah.
cult a culture he doesn't really know but really
He,
wants to know.
yeah, he's so angry about it. He's so angry at the fact that he had all of this taken away from him.
Angry enough to kill. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
actually, we need to
absolutely.
not forget there was a Stan Lee cameo in this movie. He's credited as Thirsty Casino or something like Thirsty Gambler or something like that. But he basically just takes King T'Challa's chips from the craps table and he's like, I'll just move these over here. So he passes by a superhero. That's probably one of the closest he's come to like being in the same room as one.
I've got one here in response to being asked what it felt like being one of the only few non-black actors on set, and sometimes the only non-black actor on set. Martin Freeman said, "You think, right, this is what black actors feel like all the time." Freeman and
Yeah.
Andy Serkis were known as Tolkien, the Tolkien white
White
guys
guys.
on set because they both were in the Hobbit films together.
God, when I was watching it, it just goes to show how good Andy Serkis is. I do not think of Gollum at all when he's in his human man form.
No.
But that is super interesting. So those two were in Hobbit, and then Andy Serkis and Forrest Whitaker are in Star Wars,
Hmm.
and they're in Marvel. It's like
Yeah.
they're hitting it all. Like
The connections, yeah, but it's such an interesting thing to ask Martin Freeman. And what is
yeah,
Martin Freeman gonna? He's like, this is what they experience. Black actors experience all the time. I
yeah,
am I am no different.
and it's a shame that like it kind of it still goes on really the whole
Hmm.
like obviously like Hollywood is very like white dominated. A lot of
Yeah,
corporations are very sort of, even if they don't know it, very like white supremacy, where it's like only the sort of certain people who get risen like right to the top. And it's sad that this didn't kick off a bit more of that. But I mean, we are
yeah.
getting like stuff like Ironheart, which is a very like diverse cast and
Oh, there's
things.
been so hell on about that.
But there was hell on about this back in the day as well. Like
It
it
had
just
it
got
has
drowned out because it was so good, I think.
it has nothing to do, what I have seen, the outrage I have seen, it has nothing to do with um the race or gender or anything along those lines. What people and the nerds are upset at is that Riri Williams made a statement that Tony Stark was only good because of his money.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what they're doing is, it's quite funny actually when you see the videos. There's like nerd rage of how dare she say this, and then it's Obadiah Stane screaming, and then Tony Stark built this in a cave. Yeah, there is a lot of outcry over that one statement, making it out that Tony Stark is only being as he's only as good as the money that he's got, and it's not the case at all.
Yeah, I've seen
Sorry,
it.
I don't
I've
agree
seen
with
it.
that.
She was more saying like that's why he got so good was because his dad was a billionaire, so he had like all the toys he could want to play with.
But the
And her,
Tonys is Tony. It's not
and
all about the toys with Tony. It's what's up here.
yeah, but he had like her whole thing is like she has to scratch around for like parts, like she can't
Yeah,
even afford the stuff to even
I
start
can I
building.
can understand that. Now I have nothing in this
And
because
also, nerds, Tony is not a real man. You do not have to get defensive over a fake
I'm
man's
not gonna lie.
legacy.
When I was hearing, I was like, I kind of I'm a little bit on the ridge, and it's only because I have been so close to Tony doing this watch along that I'm like, oh my God, who don't you talk? But I love Riri
Don't
Williams.
go to the dark side,
I
Sally.
would never. I love Riri Williams. I've picked up her first ever issue when it first came out. She's been she's a lovely character, and it was very refreshing to have
But
not just
yeah,
a black superhero, but a female one who was on the same intellectual levels as your Tony Starks, as
yeah,
your, it was, and we do have that with Shuri in this as well.
yeah. It's just like the problem with like the nerds is the whenever they see like a diverse cast or anything, the like the standards just rise up massively, and they're like, oh well, if this isn't impossibly perfect, then we're not going to accept it. And it's
I
like
am.
the
Look.
problem with Black Panther is for them, it was an excellent movie. So
Hmm.
then it drowned out any kind of silly
Yeah,
criticisms about it being like, too woke or
completely,
whatever.
completely.
um,
It has such a place. It's an excellent addition to the MCU.
yeah.
He was an excellent addition to the MCU. It's just a shame the universe did not want us to keep him for a little bit longer.
Yeah, but
It's so
like the
selfish when he has a family as well to say that, isn't it?
no, no, but it's like the amount of love that went into this movie from like all sides, including like the actors like Chadwick, like the love he poured into the character and the performance, like it just shows like on
It
screen,
does,
which is
and this
great.
is this is what I love. I think I've spoke about this before, where actors are so passionate about the character that they're playing.
Mhm.
There's no shame in it. They're not,
Yeah, no matter how like silly like a
yeah.
cat man is.
Yeah, there's no shame in it because there can be sometimes, especially in the superhero genre, where a lot of eye rolls. Like if you're trying to do something, like look at Robert Downey Jr. He has gone from Iron Man to being an Academy Award winner with Oppenheimer. And there's no
Yeah.
way in God's earth he's rolling his eyes going, ugh, I did Iron Man. He's not. He's so
Yeah.
fucking proud of the fact that he did Iron Man and the work that he did there. And now he's going on to play Doom as well. Like,
And people did
that's
laugh at
what.
like the superhero stuff at early days, like going
Mm,
like, "Oh, look at his stupid like facial hair for Iron Man and stuff."
mm.
But yeah, as it became, the big money maker in Hollywood, it
Oh
suddenly
yeah, don't get us
became,
wrong. Money becomes a huge factor in it. I'm not stupid,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I love I love the passion and the passion for the fan base as well.
yeah.
I don't like people who do something and just go like. It's the feeling I get sometimes with Tom Hardy with Venom. It's like I want to like it, but then at the same time I'm kind of like, oh, I don't want to touch the nerds. Like no.
Yeah, and like one amazing thing, which I think I've already like mentioned this on, but like one of my cousin's sons, he loves Black Panther, and it's like
Oh
that would never happen without this movie and
no.
without the sort of the treatment that like the character got and everything.
Hmm.
There's no way some kid, like, some modern child would know who the hell Black Panther is, because they're not, like, let's face it, unless your parents are into comics, like you can't really get comics like very easily, even now.
No.
Um, so these
We as in
yeah,
I was just going to say in our 40s he is not, I am, but
exactly, yeah. But
we still struggle.
yeah, we have to go to like specialist shops. So like having these characters out there for like kids to see and to pick
Yeah,
up the action figures and go like, oh hell yeah, this
it's
outfit is amazing. Like, of course I'm gonna
it's
like this guy.
watching the younger generation, especially the younger generation of color, see him
Hmm.
on the screen and finally have that representation for themselves. It's so heartwarming watching children for his performance, and it was also the Little Mermaid as well. When the Little
Yeah.
Mermaid, oh my God, the live action Little Mermaid, and watching all those little girls watching and finally seeing there a Disney princess who looked like them, I was bawling. I was like, this really does show why representation matters.
Yeah, and Disney, like, every now and then it allows like a director and a team to like to push something like this out that's a little bit
Hmm.
more important and like,
Yeah,
against their sort of like history of like, sort of things. But that
so
it's like
good.
it's a shame when you can sometimes feel the Disney pulling them back, like
Yeah,
whether they'll like cut something out or force them to like not show, like a same sex couple or something. Like there was a story about like Lightyear, they wanted to have a lesbian kiss and they were hard on that. It's like if Disney could just like let, hands off a little bit. You've
hmm,
got some really talented people, so just let
yeah,
them tell the stories that they need
yeah.
to tell.
Exactly, exactly. Um,
But yeah, that was Black Panther,
that was so good,
an
so
awesome
good.
superhero film, an awesome action film, and it's got a lot of heart.
It does, and it a lot. Yeah, heart. It's the best way to sum this up. The heart, the soul, the work and dedication from every single person who worked on this film, regardless of how big or how small, it all fits into how amazing this movie is.
Oh, and one little mini bit of trivia that builds on the love theme. The Wakandan salute thing, the
Mm-hmm.
cross arms. So like in American Sign Language, that's for a hug. And so that's one of the reasons why they chose it, but also it does have some history and some like
Mm-hmm.
ancient like iconography they'd found, like statues and things. So
Right.
they took a little from column A, a little from column B, and they were like, yeah, like this is a positive
Oh,
movie.
I love it. I love it. I can't believe where we're at in the timeline. I can't believe
I
we're
know,
here.
because it says at the end of this one, Black Panther will return in Infinity War. So
Guys,
that's where we're
that's
headed.
next. That's next. Infinity. I mean, you're honestly, you're ready for an absolute whirlwind of me
one of
crying.
That's one of my favorites as well.
I
So
get
I'm
it.
really excited.
I totally get it. I do get it, but I still love Endgame. Like, it's just, it is Endgames, right? What is what? Sorry,
End
I've been
game.
Endgame. I've been to work all day in the office, and
No, it's all right.
my brain is mush. We don't normally record on the night we are doing, so
Yes, wrong night.
it's it's weird for me. Yeah, I do love that, but there is some. I do get everyone's why everyone will say out of the two, the first was the best.
I mean, I'm happy to revisit. I'm just excited to see some. space madness again.
I just can't wait to get Rocket back in my life. 'Cause Rocket Raccoon plays a huge part in this next phase of,
Mhm.
Marvel movies, and we're coming to the end of the Infinity Saga. Like, this was such a brilliant time. It was such an
Yeah.
amazing and magical time.
This is where
Um,
it starts to really ramp up again because I think it was a little bit slow, and then like
oh
not everyone was on board with Ragnarok and what they were doing. But I think this started like the roller coaster started going up again, and you were like,
yeah.
oh no, it's
Um, I've
happening.
I've got a feeling that Infinity War may be our longest episode to date. There is a lot of ground to cover, and there's a lot of new
Yeah,
characters to
yeah,
cover. Um, yeah,
I agree.
I can't wait.
So maybe we'll start early so it doesn't get too dark by
Maybe
the
I'm gonna.
end.
Yeah, because my light. I
Also,
don't know if anyone
yeah,
notices if you're watching, my light gets from actual daylight
yeah,
to my purple light.
the creature of the night.
Ooh.
And I'll probably be in a different house because I'm sort of moving.
You have a green screen, nobody'll know.
Maybe I'll be on an iPhone.
Oh
Who
my
knows?
goodness. Yeah,
Um,
there might be some moving around, shaping about, because we do now, thanks to Marvel, have the time to do this. But
yeah,
Jake's going through a not a terrible personal thing, but
no,
he
no.
is moving home, so
I'm going through a period of immense change, new
yeah,
jobs, new house, new everything. But
it's
yeah,
all coming up Jake.
we want to do Infinity War right. So we'll make sure we're
Hmm.
settled in and everything's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Good
so
for
if
that
there is
one.
changes to anything, you will be the first to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing more with our social media pages, because I'm getting a little bit more creative and I'm getting ideas come up, and yeah, I'm going to be a little bit more proactive with them. Also, I noticed today, as of recording, which is the 2nd of July, we have just dropped Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2,
Yes.
for your listening pleasure.
The audio is still on track. I think we're nearly up to date,
Yeah,
effectively.
yeah, it's Jake's done such a brilliant job of spacing this out. So if you prefer to listen to us, that's totally and utterly fine. You can find us on Apple iTunes and Spotify. We will get a more cohesive, once we're up to date, we'll be able to say this comes out to this and this
Yeah.
comes out here.
Yeah, but at the moment you're still getting them every Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll continue that once we're up to date.
But yeah, you can find us on the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel every other Saturday. I can't remember what time we go out.
Oh, it's usually in the mornings, but we don't
Oh,
mind when people
no,
watch.
if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified at least the episode's available for you to watch.
We basically try and hit the Saturday morning cartoon time slot, and but for me as an adult, it's like that's when you sit down with your coffee and have a quiet moment before
TikTok
everyone
time.
wakes up.
TikTok, TikTok time.
TikTok,
Um,
TikTok.
but yeah, if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified that the episode is available for you to watch whenever you want to. And if we're interested of getting a bit more interaction with
Mhm.
this. So if you want to hit us up in the comments about anything any thoughts, feelings, on Black Panther or any other movie that we've covered so far in the timeline, please let's have a conversation.
Yeah, I've noticed Phoebes has been dropping comments in there from our anime club, so be more like Phoebes, everyone is
Everyone be more like Phoebe in every way.
But
But
yeah,
yeah.
so that's it. That's all for today. As always, we'll have an awkward outro.
Yeah, are we what's the let's fucking go? Where are we at with that?
Oh, it has to be like the biggest, right? Because Thanos is coming back, so it's a let's fucking go.
Let's
Please don't
fucking
kill us all,
go!
Thanos.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Our intros are on point, but our outros we're tired and they get
And
sloppy.
we love how awkward our outros are.
Can't have everything, can you?
Not at all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.